losing streak since they also lost 10 in the ill-fated season in 2003 when they lost an American League record 119 games. They fall 3-2 at Toronto last night. Justin Smoke, a 2-run homer for the Blue Jays. Tigers at Toronto again today, 107 the first pitch. That's today right here. A 97 won the ticket. More fallout from Sportsnet to Larry Nassar's case at Michigan State. MSU has hired an attorney who defended the school against sexual assault lawsuits to have the office handling sexual assault complaints. The appointment has sparked pushback from victim advocates who say it sends the wrong message. Meanwhile, the Detroit Pistons had a couple assistant coaches and an assistant GM. Sidney Lowe and Sean Sweeney are additions to Dwayne Casey's staff. They also hired Malik Rose as an assistant general manager. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 971theticket.com.
The following is a paid program. The views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of Entercom Communications, its sponsors, or affiliates.
To you as well, though.
We are ready to go here. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Capital Mortgage Funding. We're in our 18th plus year, bringing you 1 hour of Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Talk. I'm Harvey Free. Next to me is Harry Glantz.
Morning, Harv. What do we talk about on the show for 18 years?
Mortgages and real estate, baby.
Mortgages and real estate and business and general things going on in Detroit, Metropolitan Detroit, state of Michigan.
Real estate
whatever
related
people want
items.
to talk about. We talk, home values, appraisals. We talk about all that stuff.
We're going to bring it all. Look, we brought from our office, loan officer extraordinaire, Rosemary Ashley. You've been around in the industry a while. Hey, Rosemary, welcome to our show.
Hey, thanks very much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Of course, you bring a lot of knowledge. You've been in the industry for a long time. You could tell a lot of great stories, good and bad, on all sides. And you brought in your friend, real estate agent Dina Green from
Dina
DMG
Green.
Realty in Southfield. Hey, Dina.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. There we go. We got you mic'd up right there.
Oh, okay. Good morning. Good morning. Glad to be here.
I like your little thing, Dina Green on the scene. You've got a little spunk in you.
Yes, I am
you're
on
my
the scene.
age. Yeah,
I am on the scene all the time.
Cool old Detroiter here. I was nice talking with you the other day. I know you're passionate about your industry and helping buyers and sellers. We take all your calls here live on the show, 248-539-9797. This housing market's been very, very interesting. Becoming interesting because it's more and more difficult to purchase a house a little bit lately, as we'll get into that as we continue the conversation about the low inventory, the multiple bids, and maybe setting your offer apart from some of the other offers. So
yeah, but we have a lot to be thankful for, and we're pretty jacked up about it, right? Because the market is very strong. All right, sellers are having a field day. Buyers are having a hard time finding properties, and because the inventory is so low. But I'm going to tell you what, June was a really good month. Last day of the business month was yesterday, a Friday, double witching hour, last day of the month and a Friday. Tremendous amount of closings, tremendous amount of action on the seller side and buyer side for the month of June. So, you hear all these stories about there aren't enough properties, but you know what? People are honing in on properties, and then they're being snapped up. 4, 5, 6 offers on a property. You just have to be educated, and you just have to have a team behind you that's willing to pull the trigger when you're ready to go.
Yeah, we're still seeing a little bit of a shortage of families having to do what they need to do to set themselves apart, whether it be having their funds organized or having a strong approval letter. We're still seeing the pre-approved buyer out there, and people are calling us up really and saying, hey, Harvey, I'm ready to make this offer on the house. And I'm like, oh, great, they're a past client, yet they haven't put their ducks in a row yet. So the key is getting organized. Dean, I think you see that with so many buyers out there. Are they prepared to make the offer and close in a 30-day period? If you're not, your offer's not going to get accepted.
Yeah, they're learning. A couple of clients that are learning the hard way. When you put your offer in, you got to have a strong offer from the beginning. And if you don't have that cash is king. We all know that. But they're hurting, and they're really wanting to buy. So the market is just, very competitive, but you got to be ready.
Yeah,
if you're not ready, ask me. I'll tell you.
In your experience right now, and I'm going to ask you this question, because since you said ask you the question, since, you see that it's a seller's market, do sellers really want to get out in 30 days? Do they really want that closing to happen now in 30 days? I'll open that up to both you and Rosemary.
Oh, yeah. Sellers want it to happen the next day. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
They want it to close. Can they close sooner? Because I got something else I want to do with my money. So I want to buy a house, or I want to take a vacation, or I'm moving to Florida, somewhere, they have a plan, and they want to get that plan done, and they know right now, the sellers know that it is a seller's market.
Yeah,
So,
actually, we talked about it recently on the show. We were speaking about maybe the sellers need more time, so they have put some contingencies on the sale of their home where it says, "Look, I'm willing to sell and accept your offer, but this sale is contingent upon me finding something here in the next 60 or 90 days." But Harry, with that being said, as we've talked about that so much, Rosemary, you have a lot of clients in that situation, sort of setting up the whole timing thing. I've run into a little bit of an action out there. A couple of clients where they said, "You know what? I have a plan. I'm able to move in with some in-laws. My sister, we're able to temporarily move." Or again, a lot of the families that are doing this are empty nesters, and they're having trouble downsizing. So it does give them an opportunity. They're not moving the whole family of four into mom and dad's house or into your cousin or family's house, but maybe just for a temporary time. It takes the pressure off them. Now they've got their house sold, they've got the funds to close, and they've got some time to look for a new property.
yeah.
Also, we're all getting people approved with their current residence. It's not subject to the sale and close of current residence, because offers going in with a contingency in multiple bid situations.
Yeah, that won't happen now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're right.
Rosemary just did one for me earlier this year. They had a residence, and Rosemary got it done, and we were able to close that. And then after that, they sold their house. So that was wonderful.
That's the best, strongest offer you
Yeah.
can have if you don't have a cash offer. If you're pre-approved and you don't have to sell your house first. People are taking money from their 401ks. They're taking short-term loans from their 401ks and to put some money down, or they're putting minimum down from their bank account, and then they're paying it down after they sell the house.
Well, there's no question. Real estate, buying a property, selling a property, it's kind of like life and baseball, Harvey, is the way I equate
Okay,
it.
good. I like the analogy.
Ready? It's all situational. And whatever your situation is, if you don't have to move right away, then you're probably putting in that agreement when you're selling your house. I want 30 days, 60 days of free occupancy.
I've seen that.
Okay. You might say, you know what, I'm going to sell the property and I'm going to go ahead and move into an apartment and rent, because I'm not going to be pressured in this market with the lack of inventory to find a property that I don't want.
Yeah.
Okay. There are other things in financing. Okay. They might need to take a loan from their 401k. They might not. They might be able to get a gift from a family member. So there are all kinds of things depending on somebody's individual situation where they're going to need to do. So I think, like I said, it's like life and baseball, and it's all situational.
How about the appraisal guarantees? You guys seeing a lot of that?
The appraisal guarantee, and Harvey will talk more about that. We see a lot of that. We see a lot of that in purchase agreements where they're putting a cap on it. They're saying, okay, property might not appraise out at $200,000.
Right.
Okay,
We just had that. Dina and I just had that.
Yeah, but I'm going to go ahead and I'll pay up to $210,000 for it.
Right.
So if the appraisal comes in at $190 on a $200 offer, some will go up to $210. But as we all know, they have to come in with a difference.
Absolutely.
Already, 248-539-9797. We take all your calls here live in the studio. I know it's just starting to be the sort of the July 4th weekend kickoff. Well, we won't be on the air next Saturday, but we're going to be open all week long to help you. In fact, we have a full staff all weekend long to get that approval letter and to make sure that your mortgage is moving in the right direction. Again, get fast closing, save on your closing cost, get a great interest rate. Call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage bank. You're
So
gonna save a
for
lot
the
of money.
panel, I have so since the holiday falls on a Wednesday this year, right?
Right.
Falls on a Wednesday. Here's the question. When do you celebrate the holiday? Which weekend?
Both.
The answer to the question can only be one answer. It's both.
All week.
So why not
All
celebrate
week. All
both
week.
weekends, right?
I think this is a good week to buy a house.
There you
because there's
go,
going to be a
right.
lot of people out of town. You might get, your offer
Right.
taken this time.
Right.
Right. So the answer is both, everybody. Start celebrating right now and go through all the way through next weekend.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Always, again, if you have some alternatives, we talked about taking the anxiety out of the transaction. Putting a plan together is really the key to it. You don't always need these bridge loans. You sometimes can set up your mortgage the right way, as we talked about recasting the loan in the past.
Talk about that bridge loan situation, Harv.
The bridge loan situation is most families out there won't even need one because homes are selling so quick. Dina, you'll explain that to everyone out there. Again, if you have your house on the market, Dina, when you even do an interview to list a home, you've already brought the data. And that data tells us that if you list a home in this subdivision, it's sold in 10 days, 5 days.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you're seeing on most cities? Do you see anything that hasn't sold in a fast amount of time,
No, I haven't. And it's as soon as you put the house on the market, there's people calling or wanting to schedule it. And you haven't even gotten a chance to even put in the scheduling or the showing time, in the system so we can show it. And somebody's wanting it. And then I get offers.
Hey, Dean, I'm going to cut you off right there. That music says we're up against our first little break here. 9:10 in the morning. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Show. When we come back, all of your calls.
Good job.
97.1 The Ticket.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Welcome back to the show, 918. If you're just joining us, it's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. 1-800-LOW-RATE. You'll get a great mortgage, the best, lowest interest rates, the best service, all that good stuff. 1-800-569-7283. Mike Tomchek, stay on hold. We're going to move off to Tim in Algonac. You got a great call coming in. Hey, Tim, thanks for joining us on the show. You're trying to sell your house. Tell us the story.
Yes, I'm trying to sell my house. My house is actually over in Chesterfield, Chesterfield Township, off of Chesterfield Road and between 24 and 25 Mile Road.
Yeah, Macomb's hot. Yeah.
Yeah, hot spot, Chesterfield Lake subdivision, 3-bedroom colonial. We got a nice gray room, open gray room. I got a den, library, formal dining room, full finished basement with a wet bar. I put the house on the market in April. Had probably about 15, 20 showings. I started at 329.9. I'm down to 314.5, and I haven't got no offers, no nothing. Beautiful elevations, reversed 2.5 car garage.
I'm sold. The problem is I'm not a buyer out there. Hey, let me get my expert in here. Dan, what do you think, Tim? What's going on there?
It's overpriced.
Okay. Hey, what's going on with that, Tim?
If a house doesn't sell in this market, it's overpriced or it has something that is wrong with it, and it's blatant. So, you said you had it at 329. When you list a house, you want to list a house. I always list them in $25,000 segments, right?
Okay.
So 325,000, 350,000, because you're going to get the same buyer at 325. You are at 314.
Their search, the way
right?
they punch it in, their search shows up the same thing.
Without a doubt, everyone comes here and says, "Dan, I want to go to 300 or 450 or 425." So you put that in there. So when you're pricing them, instead of 329, you should have started at 324.9, right? But what I'm seeing here is that I don't know the market out there that well, but if it's anything like around here, the only reason it won't sell is because it's overpriced.
Price too high.
Or some obsolescence that we're not hearing about. Tim,
but even then, even a home that has some issues will still sell.
Tim, have you had any offers since April?
You're there, you can win $10,000 instantly. Guess the secret 6-digit PIN code when you play the $10,000 Bank Vault Challenge. The Ford Technology Tour, North Brothers Ford in Westland, Monday 5 to 9 with 97.1 The Ticket. Get more at 971theticket.com. The only way you can take 97.1 The Ticket with you is the radio.com app. Download it today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
97.1 The Ticket.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the show, 916. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. In our 18th plus year, if you need a mortgage, you need Capital Mortgage, 1-800-LOW rate. That's 1-800-569-7283. Get a real approval letter. We run your file through the system. We completely go over every detail A to Z because we understand every detail. Deal with real mortgage professionals. There's a big difference out there. Absolutely. I yesterday thought I sort of had to make a phone call, and lo and behold, had some mortgage guy on the phone, and boy, he sounded pretty good. But again, asked him 3 or 4 different questions, couldn't get a straight answer. And what's going on out there is there is a lack of professionalism in our industries. We've seen that, Dina, over the last 12 years. It was ugly. Everyone got out of the business in 7 and 9.
What's going on right now is the reoccurrence of you're seeing these mass emails come out. You're seeing these e-blasts come out from companies that you've never heard of.
Right.
And they're putting out disingenuous information, okay?
Especially the people that made their money on a refinance market, because that's all drying up right now. So they're trying to go into the purchase market, and it's totally different.
Listen, a purchase market has so many moving parts on a purchase transaction. You know, you got 2 sets of realtors, you have a buyer and a seller, you have probably 2 sets of attorneys, you have accountants, you have a lot of things going on, and people want constant information.
From one person.
Yeah, you need a go-to person. You need one person that is going to be that point person, and you have to know what you're talking about. Yeah. And it's, I equate it to when you call a company up, or you call the phone company, or you call somebody and they start putting you on hold, and then they start transferring you around to 14 different people, and you can't get an answer. And then the sin of all sins happens. Somebody disconnects you in the middle of the conversation, and then you've got to start over.
Man, I mean,
everybody out there driving around in your car, I know you're driving off the road right now because it happened to you.
Right.
You've called the place. You finally get to the person that you might think can help you after 7 different tries, and all of a sudden your call gets disconnected. Well, you need to go to people that take care of everything all with one phone call. Yeah. And we still take calls. We do email, we do text, we do all that stuff. But the bottom line is people want to talk to people. Yep. That's how it works.
Hey, people do business with human beings.
Right.
There you go.
Yes.
But I always like the idea, if you're comfortable with the people you're working with, whether it be your agent, your loan officer, your lender, you stick with them. And again, stick with them and be loyal to the people that have really taught you the way.
Absolutely.
And if you're not getting that information, then you can seek for some additional information. It's a good way to go. Buying a house up north, why not? A lot of our families, a lot of the friends and clients I was speaking to, they're headed up north. We have just an unbelievable state here. And when the weather's like this, there's that need to perhaps buy that vacation home. Call Capital and find out how you can buy for very little down. Again, it doesn't take a whole lot of money to buy that vacation home.
We live for these 6 days in Michigan. In February, we long for these 6 days.
We do.
All right, so.
Also, mortgage rates, again, a little bit on vacation mode. There hasn't been any change in the rates last week, but there's some information coming out next week. Be very careful. Don't get caught into the what's about to happen. A lot of economic data coming out the week after. So, again, be sure to go ahead and lock in your mortgage rate, find out when you're going to be closing on a purchase, and deal with the real professionals. There's a lot of good things you have to do out there. Hey, Dina, we had some, I always want to talk about experiences with different real estate agents. When you meet the buyer, how you go about your strategies. It's obviously a lot of fun when someone's purchasing homes, but there's so many steps. Tell us a little bit about your strategy, maybe when you just first meet somebody, what you like to do.
Well, I usually try to just get information from them and see where they're from and what they're like. And I ask them what are their 5 must-haves. What must you have when you're looking for a house? What's most important on your list? And usually the location is number 1 for them because most of them have kids and they want a certain school district or something like that. And then number 2 is definitely the price. And then the space. So I just try to find out, what's more important to them. And then we talk about where we're going to go. And then I share who I am, where I'm from. I'm a Detroit girl, born and raised in Detroit, went to Henry Ford High School, class of 1983.
Young lady.
You got some people listening now saying, hey, Dina's on there. What's she doing on the sports station?
Dina Green is on the scene at Henry Ford High.
There you go.
Now, then I went to Eastern Michigan, got a little finance degree. So I have a little finance background, and I usually try to help out with budgets and some of my younger clients, because they sometimes are, in need of a little financial budgeting for their mortgage payments. So I just give them a little information, and then I shoot them over to their lender, and that's Rosemarie. But I want to give them the personal side, because I've experienced all angles of it. Even when the market crashed in 2008-9, I was one of those people who was like, oh, man, my house. So I know what I went through, and I know what they went through. We cried together. We got our boots on, and we tackled it, and we fought, and we saved houses. Many of them were in foreclosure and came out. So I just try to get personal with them and touch bases with their wishes, their dreams, and just make it happen.
Yeah, it's really fun. I mean, again, renting versus owning. I mean, there's no doubt that there's a lot of opportunities out there to own it. The problem with rent is, as families continue to rent, is the rents keep going up, and then you're not building equity.
Yeah.
And then also it becomes more difficult with the rents going up to save money for that down payment. Right. So we talk about a couple different programs. We have, of course, the state of Michigan has the MSHDA program, which is alive and kicking. Michigan State Housing Development Authority. It's a great program out there, giving a lot of families additional money up to $7,500 to use to purchase a house. There's other grant programs. Of course, all of them are slipping my mind now. But find out which programs are available. Different counties and different cities do allow for some down payment assistance programs. And with 3% down conventional and still FHA at 3.5% down, it's a great way to buy a house.
A VA loan with zero down, but you have to come up with closing costs and some tax money for the veterans that serve our country.
Yes.
And the USDA loans here, as we talk about zero down programs, I'll tell you, the USDA loan is still a sleeper out there because there's so many opportunities. We generally are, other than within the metro area, just on the outskirts of Wayne, Oakland, and of course Macomb County. Those areas are still available for rural development loans. That's through the USDA. You come to Capital Mortgage, we get you a strong approval so that, again, you have no hiccups on these transactions.
Well, let's talk about those strong pre-approvals, because just because you get a letter, after you go online and you click, push, you get a letter, boom, I'm pre-approved.
Yeah.
How good are those, Dina? Tell
way.
people how good those pre-approvals are.
They're not good at all.
Doesn't work that way.
Dina's got a story of how not good they are.
Right. Yeah. Well, I just saved my buyers $10,000.
Yeah. She's talk about that story.
Oh my God! I'm not going to mention any names.
No, don't mention any names.
And I'm not even going to mention the city.
Okay.
But they were doing a new construction home, and we started with these buyers last year, and they put their $10,000 down because that's what they required for this new construction area, and they were pre-approved.
Pre-approved by the lender of the Builder's Choice.
Yes.
This has come up. It's been a sore spot. Let me cut in there with that. Families need to know what your rights are. If you're out there and you want to purchase a house, you have rights as a future homeowner.
Absolutely.
You can make choices. You can choose any real estate agent you like.
Right.
You can choose any lender you want.
Right.
And the title company you can even choose.
And homeowners insurance.
Homeowners insurance. If someone's directing you only to one person, this is a mistake. This is called steering, and it's not allowed.
Right.
And again, what it's doing, it's taking away your rights to save money and to educate yourself in the process. So again, keep your eyes open out there. Again, there's a lot to know if you're just listening. There's a lot to know about anything you do, whether it be purchasing an automobile or a house. But these are extremely different things, and the process of it is a lot different. So,
well, it's always good to know what kind of relationships you have with people. Yeah. Now, Dina and I do business, but there's no financial anything that goes no pay to play.
Right.
Okay. Dina refers me business. I give her pre-approved customers, pre-approvals that close the way I pre-approve.
People can wrap up their transactions,
and so we get referrals from that. We get happy customers. They talk about us.
That's the way it works. 248-539-9797. Let's move off to we're going to go to Ed out here. If you can click that. Yep, there's my man on the board. Thank you so much. Hey, Ed, on a cell phone. What's going on? Ed, you there? All right, we lost Ed.
Ed, you schluffing or what?
We're going to cut you off. I made
you got going.
All right, we lost Jed. Hey, 248-539-9797. Hey, we brought Dina Green in from DMG Realty to talk, our realtor guest today. And,
Dana Green is on the scene.
Dana Green's
you want
on
to keep
the
using
scene.
that. Rosemary Ashley will talk about all the differences of what's going out there in the real world. Of course, Bill, buying a house, as we always talk about, has all these different moving parts. And we just want to stress that if you're dealing with the real professionals out there, your experience should be fun and exciting. And home ownership shouldn't be something scary. It should be something you truly enjoy from process A to Z. So definitely take a look. Hey, good news out there. The Federal Housing Administration, which was in such dire straits back in 2009 through 2013, as many people, as you mentioned, Dina, were walking away from the house. It's very healthy again. The financial book is looking really good for FHA. There's some talk now about reducing the upfront MIP. So again, this just makes things a little bit more affordable for first-time home buyers. And they are seeing, though, that 25% of FHA buyers that closed already this year had debt-to-income ratios over 50%. So a little reminder out there to families, if you're considering home ownership in the near future, give Capital Mortgage a call. Let us go over your finances and discuss debt-to-income ratio on how it can affect you. We see so often, Dina and Rosemary, and of course, Harry, we see all this. A lot of times a family will come to us, but we can only use one of the borrowers because perhaps there's some bad credit situation with one, maybe a husband or
either
or the
that
wife.
or commission that they haven't been on for long enough,
or
part-time. Yeah, exactly.
Time on the job.
Those darn student loans. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Student loans. What a lot of people don't understand, what I'm getting over and over again is, well, I'm not paying on my student loans. Why are you adding them to my debt ratio?
Well, because they're a future debt.
Exactly.
And we have to add them in.
We have to because of the rules that we're under.
Because sooner or later they're going to come in.
Absolutely. With negative AM.
All right, 248-539-9797. When we come back, we're talking mortgages and real estate and all of your calls. Keep it here.
97.1 The Ticket.
Alrighty, welcome back to the show. It's 9:18. It is definitely going to be a little cloudy outside, getting up to about 76 degrees.
Humid haven.
Humid haven, yeah. Becky with the hair report for all the women out there and men out there, not me, but
Yeah, you pass it. You're not going to worry about it.
just leave it alone and don't even put it up
hair
in a.
up or hat today for
I
the
actually
ladies.
feel like I'm having a good hair day.
Oh man, it's a process for wavy hair ladies with long hair.
Oh, great. Well, we'll be talking to my daughters later. Hey, this
Yeah.
is the Hardcore
Hair
Mortgage
tips.
Real Estate Show. Again, we always give you 1 hour of mortgage and real estate talk. We brought Chris Dayton in from eXp Realty in Southeast Michigan and Becky Alley from Capital Mortgage Funding to help me along here. We take all your calls, 248-539-9797, whether you're buying or selling a house. Deal with real experts that care. Boy, I got too many great stories. Some of them I can't share with you today on the air, but you definitely can call me at the office if you want to hear some really interesting stuff. But Chris, as we were talking today, all these different opportunities for families, and try to take an individual and place them into something where he's going to be successful. And we even mentioned off the break that every house is so different where you might have to spend an extra $10,000 or $20,000 out of your pocket, or let's say finance that house and spend $10,000 to $20,000 more on the purchase price, but you don't have to come back and remodel the house immediately. It's more of a move-in condition house. And how important it is to get clients set up that way.
Well, it's interesting too because what's happening is a lot of the younger generation, first-time homeowners, they don't want to do remodels. That's
present.
Totally.
I'm not a first-time home buyer, but I want a turnkey. I want to walk in and I like the colors. Cool.
That's what's creating the opportunity for the trades to come in and have a job and be able to pick up a home, and then they fix it up, and then they're able to list it and sell it pretty quickly because all these, for lack of better term, the millennials, they don't want to do the work. They want to walk in, they want to have it ready, and they're going to pay more for it, and they're okay with that.
They're okay with it. Hey, they went to school. They've got the income coming in. They've got the job. You talk about on today's market, association fees, your current debts, figuring out a house payment that families are comfortable with. I usually tell families that it's different than renting. You know, if you were paying $1,000 in rent, just to use a round number, you're going to get more money and you're paying $1,000 on a mortgage. Well, you're going to get a tax refund. You're going to your tax deduction at the end of the year, writing off the interest, writing off the property tax that you paid on the house. So maybe it's like 25%. Maybe if you're used to spending $1,000 a month on rent, you would be more comfortable at $1,250. There's a way to figure that out.
Right.
And until we get the family in there, I always get the call a year later and they're like, Harvey, you're so right on this. I got my tax refund back. The house is great. We're meeting families.
Right.
And we're spending less money because there's more things to do in a community when you're a homeowner.
Correct. And you're also establishing yourself. I mean, when you're renting from someone, you also run the risk of right now you're in a market that is predominantly for the sellers. And they could just give you your walk-in papers and say you have 30 days to get out because now I want to sell it. And if you can't buy it, you're out looking for another house to possibly rent. So why, if you can get yourself into a home that call your own and establish yourself, plant your roots for your family, your children, why not do that? It's a lateral move for you, for your family, for them, the schools, kids, all that. So absolutely. And you need to make sure that you call us so we can make sure that we're setting you up for success. Like Harvey was saying about your payment, making sure that you're comfortable, know what your payment's going to be, know what your cash to close is going to be, and then also discuss with us what you have in the bank so that way we can get with your realtor and know that how he's going to negotiate the offer for possible asking the seller to pay some of your closing costs and how to negotiate that to make sure that you can get in the house for the right dollar amount and also the right price.
We can do that, and that's why working with you is very important. But the reality is the only people who should be renting right now are people who are in transition. Maybe they got divorced. They don't know exactly where they want to live yet. Maybe they're downsizing. They sold their house and then they, ended up wanting to buy something that's not available yet.
Right.
So it's a transitional thing because the truth of the matter is the net worth over your lifetime.
Yeah.
There's statistics that show that all over the place that if you own your home, you are, I think it's 5 times more likely, you have 5 times more net worth
Oh, yeah.
over your lifetime than if you rent.
Brought to you by Troy Laser and Fab. Tiger baseball today right here on 97.1 The Ticket. First pitch at 1:07. Tigers trying to snap out of a 10-game losing skid in the heels of a 3-2 loss at Toronto last night. Their first 10-game such skid since 2003. The year they lost an American League record 119 games. Meanwhile, a former trainer accused of abusing a young gymnast at the famed Corelli Ranch in Texas is the first person outside of Larry Nassar to be charged criminally in cases that now involve allegations in 2 states. Debbie Van Horn indicted yesterday in second-degree assault of a child. Pistons make some hirings. They had assistant coaches Sidney Lowe and Sean Sweeney to Dwayne Casey's staff. They also hired Malik Rose as an assistant general manager. At the PGA Tour's Quicken Loans National, Tiger Woods follows a Thursday 70 with a 500 par 65 to get within 4 shots of the lead and a 9-way tie for 11th place at the midway point. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 97.1theticket.com.
The Tigers, Red Wings, and Pistons all play here. 97.1 The Ticket.
All righty, welcome back. Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Give us a call at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Always send us an email at mortgage.show@lowrateonline.com. We take all your calls here live in the studio. I'm Harvey Freed here. He glanced to my right. Rosemarie Ashley from Capital Mortgage Funding. We're representing the mortgage side of things, and Dina Green here representing the real estate side of the transactions. If you're buying or selling a house, definitely give us a call. Open lines, 248-539-9797. Let's move off to Greg out in Garden City. Good morning, Greg. Welcome to our show.
Hi, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's happening, Greg?
It's a twofold question. My house is completely paid off, and I'm looking to get some funding, either a HELOC or an equity loan. But nobody really knows if I should get a first mortgage, a HELOC, or an equity loan. That's part one. Part two is I was also told that if there's any discrepancies or disputes on my credit report, that they cannot give me a loan. Just wondering. Give me some insight on this.
Well, I got the first question. We'll definitely get to what mortgage is best for you. And then you had a credit situation. What's on your credit?
He said there's some of the mortgage products will not allow disputes on the credit report.
Right. We have to fix that dispute.
Well, let's take it in reverse order. Greg, tell me, what is your credit score? What do you think your credit score is?
It's a little over 700.
Okay, it's over 700, so you shouldn't have an issue getting a loan. Number two is the difference between a cash-out refinance and a home equity loan really comes down to, A, how much do you want to take out for the project that you're looking for, and how long are you going to be in the house?
The second part, I'm not sure how long I'm going to be in the house. It'll probably be numerous years. It's something that I'm going to be selling in the next 2 or 3 years.
Okay, and how much are you looking to take out in the way of a loan?
Probably somewhere between about $40,000 to $60,000.
Okay, so to me, if you're going to be there a while, now a home equity loan is a variable rate interest rate, so which means it can go up every year, and with the way prime rate is going up, it's going to go up every single year. So if you're going to be there long term, I wouldn't do a home equity loan. I would do, if your house is free and clear, it's a cash out refinance transaction that you get it all in one lump sum, and we can put you on a fixed rate, and that way you can lay your head down on your pillow every night and know what your payment's going to be without the worry of it going up.
Yeah. And it's a decent amount, too, Harry. He's talking 50, 60,000. I like the idea, as you mentioned. Also, the home equity loans are not typically amortized. What happens is we find families in the past, there's a history of this, have gotten into trouble with them.
Interest-only transaction.
They fall into where they're making the interest-only payment. They're using it more as a piggy bank. It appears that these fixed loans have had a better history of families really buckling down. They know they have 10 or 15-year fixed, and they make their scheduled payments, and they pay it off in a timely manner.
Right, and rates are still historically low. I mean, when you can get a 30-year fixed rate in the mid-4s to 4 3/4, you're talking about these are the same rates that people had in 1965, 1966. So you're going back 52 years for the same rates. These aren't the 1980s rates of 17, 18%. These are the 1960s rates of 4 to 5%.
Greg, it's a great call. Follow up on the what else you got going on in regards to the credit situation on that dispute. Is that something you can fix pretty quickly? What was your dispute?
It's just somebody else has my name, and they got me on that person's property as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're going to take a look at that. I think we want to run. You're going to give us permission, authorization to run your credit report. We do it at no charge to you, and you have to let us delve into it because we run a tri-merge credit report with all the credit bureaus taking consideration running on one credit report. And we can take a look at that for you.
Yeah, there's usually we can get documentation sent to the credit bureaus that may even show your social security number doesn't match. It's a different person. We could have that removed for you. So, yeah, definitely give us a call. We'll follow up with you and see if we can help you with this.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for your help.
Thank you for joining in. We appreciate the call. Again, these calls are great because now a lot of times families are afraid to call. You don't want to tell your situation, but everyone's got something going on there, something similar situation. And again, by calling, you're helping a lot of people out. 248-539-9797. Dina Green, always like talking about buying and, of course, listing homes. But in today's marketplace, Dina, the houses are full. You list the house, there's multiple bids. That's not the hard part. Maybe the hard part of the listing side is really picking the best offer.
Yeah.
And sometimes that has to do, as we've always talked about, is the timing of the buyers, the timing of the sellers, and the flexibility of these two parties coming together to make a transaction happen.
Yeah, the sellers want to know, can you make it happen within their time frame? And the one thing I do look at and I encourage the sellers to check out is the buyer strong? Is that buyer able to complete the transaction, or will we get to the closing table and have to do and backtrack, and therefore they have to delay all their plans? So it's important to get a strong pre-approval, and if you can get everything to your lender, everything they need up front,
right? Say it with me.
Yeah,
up front.
Yeah, like yesterday.
Like now.
Yes, get them on, shoot them all over there.
Right.
How you shoot it out the printer over there.
Getting the information to the lender before you put in the offer is very important. Not only do you have the certainty, but then when the listing agent calls the loan officer, you can say, yeah, I've already reviewed the 1040s and the W-2s and the pay stubs and the bank statements. I have proof they have sufficient assets to close, sufficient income. Just let us get the purchase agreement. Let's go.
What I'm starting to do now is encourage the buyer to get pre-approved before we even go out and look at houses.
Oh, it's got to be. It's 100%.
Because they want a $500,000 house, but they can only afford $2.50.
Hold on 1 minute before I get them.
We found that over the last several years. What happened was, of course, when the market changed, then we got a lot of new people in the industry, and people and the newer agents didn't really want to ask. They didn't want to say, well, they didn't even understand the difference between a pre-approval and they don't know the difference. And sure enough, a lot of times they would start working with families and getting them out there. And after a month or two of looking at homes and making offers and such, we find out they don't even qualify. And we've seen that for families. So again, we urge you. That's the constant thing.
That doesn't go on anymore, does it?
All
it's
day
still
long.
going on.
All day long.
It's still shocking that it's going on. So it's
the other thing that we do that we fall short of as agents, when the buyers contact us, we put them on like a drip list of emails that send the listings out to them. So they're getting excited. They're looking at these houses, and then they say, I want to go see these. And that's where we kind of like shouldn't do. And we shouldn't entice them until we know that they're pre-approved or they're fully ready to go out, because they want to see the higher priced houses and they haven't done the first step. So what I'm starting to do now is I'm going to send you over to Rosemary first, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, it's been a great practice for the professional real estate agents for a number of years. We've always found that that's been one of the number one things that they 100% make sure that they're going to be able to close in a timely manner. No one wants to be involved in a transaction and have all these parties involved.
It's
and
heartbreaking.
Then things crumble.
Yeah. It's heartbreaking for the customers.
Well, we've been able to pick up the pieces for a lot of builders out there, a lot of other offices out there that are just doing things maybe a little bit differently. So,
right, so Dina Green on the scene. Henry Ford, Trojan, class of 1983.
Yes. All right.
Yeah. Well, famous alumni.
I'm one
Gregory
to see.
Kelser, Michigan State University, NCAA champion. Where do you see property values going? What is your take right now on where property values are?
In Oakland County, the property values are increasing. In Wayne County, especially the Detroit area, the property values are increasing. And they will continue to increase for a while in Detroit. The key is, will these buyers be able to purchase those with those increasing prices?
Correct.
So it is going up, and it's going to continue to go up for a while. So you have to be ready. You got to be pre-approved, and you got to be able to complete the transaction. That's very important.
Yeah, Mark just sent me the same type of thing, saying the key is really to get in touch with your lender first.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the first call families do think sometimes is to the real estate agent, and it could be.
Yeah.
And if that's your choice, again, a qualified real estate agent will at least refer you to a few qualified lenders to break all this information down. And you have that choice. You have the choice to check out a few different opportunities out there and find out. You can check things like how long they've been in the industry, the mortgage license, the knowledge, all the good stuff. And of course, always saving money on rates and closing costs is a good way to go. Hey, it's 9:41. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. When we come back, all of your calls.
97.1 The Ticket.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Danberg for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All right, welcome back to the show, 9:33. Good morning if you're just getting out of bed. I can't say it's going to be a great one out there, but every day, as we say, is a great day. So enjoy yourself. 76 degrees, a little cloudy today, and the same for tomorrow. That's okay. We'll get it all squared away next week as we go up to 90 degrees.
What?
And we got Tiger baseball here on 97.1 a little bit later today.
Again?
And, of course, the Tigers got to get out of their losing ways. Last night,
you Tigers.
that took the wind out of me. 10-0 last night. That's not any good.
No, Tigers.
We'll get back on top tonight.
Come back home,
Grand slam.
Tigers.
Well, the Hardcore Mortgage Show, again, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Give us a call at the office. We have a full staff there. I'm going to be back in the office a little bit later today to meet some clients. It's always fun. If you want to sit down with true mortgage professionals, call our office. You can set up an appointment with any of our professional mortgage people. Again, we have lots of experience. Most of our people in the office has been around for several years. You can just check at the mortgage license numbers. You can see we've been around a long time.
I don't think there's anyone on our staff that has less. I mean, less than at least 10 years. I mean, we're definitely like it's. I don't think there's anyone that has less than that.
We talk about things in the past, and Chris, you mentioned the millennials and stuff. I mean, it's worth pointing out. Do they really care what happened 10 years ago? I mean, if you're 25 years old, you're out of college, you got your job. They were 15, 14 years old. I don't think they care anymore.
Well, hey, the Lions went 0-16 10 years ago.
There you go. It seems like a long time. It feels like yesterday, but it seems like a long time ago. But where I'm going with that is things in the past could come back to haunt people if they, just don't stick to some of their basics. And as we talk about overspending on certain things, using your house as a bank account, there's reasons why you want to build equity in your house. We're not telling you to dive back in there and pull all the equity out, but you can use your house as something that could help you in the future. And we see so many clients that have student loan debt or after their weddings and after just life and a couple kids that, they do have $10,000 to $20,000 worth of credit card debt. So why not use the equity in your house? It's not for everybody, but if you have equity in your house, we'll do the math for you to show you what the numbers look like.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually had a transaction, a couple months ago. I didn't hit the birth lottery. I had to pay for my schooling and all that stuff. But, there are some parents out there that are really going broke putting
Store for details.
The only way you can take 97.1 The Ticket with you is the radio.com app. Download it today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
97.1 The Ticket.
All right, welcome back to show 945. Oh, it's going to be a hot and sticky one, but us as Michiganders, we love it. We never get this kind of great weather out there, so be careful, stay cool, drink a lot of water, and again, find some shade if you're not near one of those things. But a lot of exciting stuff here. We've got Tiger baseball coming up later this afternoon. A lot of fun things to do in Metro Detroit, golf, and hit the local lakes. Be safe out there.
Losing streak ends today, Harv. Losing streak
I
ends
like that
today.
one.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
All right.
Come on now.
No, Tigers will get back on the right path, that's for sure. Hey, we got some open lines here. Again, 248-539-9797. Dina Green from DMG Realty. Dina meets with a lot of buyers. And you guys have a really fun thing coming up. You had one last month. And you're going to do another home buying seminar at our office in Southfield. Call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE. Find out about the up-and-coming July home buying seminar. We'll take your name and number.
Harvey, you should see Rosemary work a crowd.
Oh, she's great at that.
She can work a crowd like nobody's business, all right?
And yes, she does. You know, the thing is, it's fun. And it should be fun, and you should learn how to purchase a house.
Stress-free.
Stress-free.
Yeah.
And again,
Well,
if you
we like the entertainment value, but also we like the other E, the educational value that we bring. And I've seen Rosemary in action at Lunch and Learns. She does a lot of Lunch and Learns every month, and she does home buying seminars. So when you're looking to do business with somebody, you need somebody who's been in the business a while, who's experienced, and also can give you some educational content and make you aware, because you don't buy a house every single day. We might do hundreds of transactions, but you only buy a house once, twice, 3 times in your life.
Right.
So you really need to know the ins and outs of it. And you guys are a great team. You and Dina are a great team, and I really appreciate having you on the show.
Well, you know, I came into the mortgage industry. I never had this on my list of things I wanted to do when I grew up. I was a corporate.
Think anybody does.
I was a corporate trainer. You guys might remember Michigan National Bank.
Sure, that's why I started my career.
I used to bank there.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, I started in 1990 in the Independence One Mortgage Corporation as a corporate trainer, and they inducted me into the business.
There you go.
You've got a history and a bio. Hey, definitely out there with the lack of homes out there, we have seen these homes that have been left, maybe the less desirable ones, some sort of obsolescence, whether it be main road homes. We're seeing a few of those, and they're great houses, and they work for a lot of families, or homes that haven't been taken care of. Maybe someone had deceased and they didn't finish the basement. There's some water issues. We see that, roof issues, water issues, sewer issues. These homes can be fixed up. Home renovation loans, you can do them conventionally. We have all the programs at Capital Mortgage Funding. If you're looking at a house, if you saw something you like, call the experts, Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, and we could either set you up with a 203K loan for FHA, if that's where you need to go, or maybe on a conventional product. But you can buy a house that, again, maybe that market, a good house in that subdivision, Dina, you see them, they sell for $200.
Yeah.
But this one's got some issues. It's going to need $25,000, $35,000 maybe to make it right. Family might be able to buy that for $140, put the $30,000, $35,000 in, and now they've got that difference of they owe $175,000 versus the $200,000 neighborhood, and that's some built-in equity.
Right.
You see that. It's a great opportunity for many families.
Yeah, the key is the price in that house right, so that family can get it and get it in contact with their loan officer to make sure that they offer the programs that they need, because they want to get the house up back to the market its value in that neighborhood. So that's the key of keeping the neighborhoods good, keeping the neighborhoods growing, and the key is just pricing it right.
Yeah, I like that. There's definitely about finding the right neighborhood. You mentioned your 5 things that you start off with is generally it starts off with, the location.
Yes.
And because the location has to do with a particular school district. And then after that, it gets into the style of the home. Yeah. And then sometimes because of the lack of inventory out there, I think you've had some families say, hey, look, we might have to go back and rethink this a little bit. Oh, yeah. Maybe some other cities or other school districts, within those cities are going to work for our families' needs just because prices have been driven up in a lot of these great areas.
Right. And that's the one thing that a lot of buyers are getting frustrated about, because it's such a competitive market right now. But when we have our buyer seminar on July 12th, that's a Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. at Capital Mortgage, we will be talking about things like how to trust your agent, and your agent can help you tackle those questions that you have. And there are key things about trusting your agent, there are key things about renting versus buying, and we want to encourage you to purchase because you have a lot of benefits of writing off things when you are a purchaser. So come on out July 12th from 6 to 8 at Capital Mortgage. We'll be glad to answer all of your questions.
That's great. And again, call 1-800-LOW-RATE and get your name down on there. And again, we're going to be having some refreshments and stuff. But it's a fun 2-hour seminar. Get in the air condition, get out of the heat anyways in July and find out. Again, many families out there take advantage of refinancing if you have not refinanced your house or if you're sort of straddled with some of that toxic debt. Definitely call Capital Mortgage Funding. Find out how a debt consolidation
What
loan.
is toxic debt?
Toxic debt, Harry, would be a credit card, a 12 at any percentage, a 9% or above. And you see most of these credit cards, Harry, when they're not paid off monthly, they're double digits for sure.
Any revolving debt, MasterCard, Visa, any department store charges. Home improvement store charges, anything that you cannot, that we could roll in for you and make it, have Uncle Sam help you out with a tax deduction because mortgage interest is still tax deductible, or an 18% Visa card is not. And the key thing about paying off toxic debt, Harvey, is what? You've got to tear up that credit card. You can't
pay it off monthly from then on.
Right, you got to pay it off, and then you cannot continue to roll those balances over on a monthly basis.
Right.
Or else then you're using your house as a piggy bank, and that just never works really well.
Right. Yeah, you definitely want to do that. And again, we see so many families taking advantage of paying off their land contracts still. So there's been some families that have inherited houses over the years. There's been, obviously there's death and divorce and some bad things out there that makes real estate change hands. But one of the things you can do is call the professionals. If you haven't worked up a land contract, if you're trying to sell to a family member, it's key that you get professional people involved. We'll set you up with a title company, all the paperwork needed so that you get the right mortgage and it works out for your family. There's a lot of money that can be saved by having the professionals involved and making sure you do things the right way. Nothing wrong with getting attorneys involved too. Actually, I saw a purchase agreement came over the other day. The attorney's purchase agreement was identical to yours, Dina. Wow. It was a standard real estate purchase agreement, but they sort of copied and pasted all on one. Yeah. But the language was there, and if you get it all signed up and the language is there to protect all parties, that's the important thing.
Yeah, you want to have it reread, and if you have an attorney, it's no problem to have them look it over because you want to be safe than sorry. But we usually encourage we actually say it to our buyers. You can have your attorney look this over if you're not comfortable with it, if you're not comfortable with the trusting.
Yeah, you always have a few days to take a look at that, especially if you're buying new construction in today's marketplace. The builders don't want to build a custom home for you, and you're picking out all your colors and the things you want in the home and all the specs you want to find out 6 months down the road or within that year that you're not going to be able to close. So very important to learn every aspect of a transaction. Dina, you mentioned of a situation. We've been hearing quite a few of them. We had one come by our office, and again, shame on these preferred lenders sometimes. That doesn't always mean that's 100% that they're going to be representing you. And that's the key, is make sure you get proper representation. Here, we talked about paying off a land contract. The tax bill's coming out tomorrow. So a little heads up there as we talked about paying off, pulling some equity out of your house. If you haven't budgeted properly in 2018 or 2017, pay your property taxes. Folks, you will be getting a property tax bill probably tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, but definitely on Monday it'll show up. And now remember that if you have an escrow account, you still do typically get a bill. Just you might want to double check with your lender, or if your servicer has changed in the last 12 months, making sure you pick up the phone, just make sure they've got a copy of your tax bill, so there's no problems there. But again, even though you have an escrow account, typically the city will still send you the tax bill. So a little heads up.
Also, Harvey, if you're in the middle of a refinance transaction, you're closing after July 1st, those taxes are going to become due, and most likely they're going to have to be paid at closing.
Right.
Yeah, Harry, that puts a big twist on things, especially this time of year. Right, there's a couple different numbers that'll change significantly, right, because of how we do taxes here in most of the cities across Southeast Michigan. Right, it might make it where it's a little bit more money at closing, but then again, you're going to get a full refund of your old escrow account. So usually it's what do you call it, 6 and 1, half dozen the other.
6 and 1, half dozen the other, which means it's all even.
It'll all even out, but sometimes it does, give you a little bit different transaction. The numbers could look a little bit differently.
Right, and it shouldn't be surprised about it. I know if you applied in June and nobody disclosed to you that your taxes might have to be, they're going to come due and they're going to have to be paid, don't be surprised when somebody calls you up and says, hey, you owe $2,500 for your summer taxes.
Right. And that's for people, even if you don't have an escrow account, if we're closing after July 1st, even though they're payable September without a penalty, we're going to want them paid because they can be.
September 14th is the deadline.
I don't remember the date, but
Yes,
yeah.
it is.
I don't want to say it because I'll end up jinxing myself, but sure enough, I think we have some leniency on the clients that do have that, but I don't want to say it here right now. But again, if you do pay your own tax, we might have some leniency on
Learning
that.
something new every day.
Not for our escrow clients, but definitely for
You
those.
just told the whole world they don't have to pay their taxes.
And again, the key is, though, that you do get those paid. Most of the cities do have a fine or a late payment after September 15th, so get those handled also. 248-539-9797 if you want to sneak in a phone call. And again, we want to tell you to call Capital Mortgage Funding at 1-800-LOW-RATE to get that strong
I'm
approval
getting
letter.
sad. It's almost over.
That's right.
Hey, we got more to talk about, selling or closing. We could definitely talk about we talked about the bridge loans already. The funds to close has been a serious issue. So, Dino, that's one thing we can sneak in there real quick. If you're thinking about purchasing a house and you have a house to sell, how important it is to get, like Dina, you get in front of these folks right away. And I think the most important question to answer is, how long typically does a house stay on the market?
Yeah. It depends on the area, but in most areas now, just to be honest, it's going to be on the market for maybe 1 or 2 days, and it'll be sold. And especially if it's priced right. And the ones that they're staying longer are the ones that are overpriced, and that's where your agent should come in and just do a market analysis of the property and price it right so it'll be sold right. So the seller's got to have a plan because it could sell in 1 day. So you got to have a plan of where you're going to go and what you're going to do.
Yeah, you can accept the offer, but again, you can add that contingency that says, hey, look, I'm accepting, but the only contingency is that I find another house in a timely manner.
Exactly.
All right, that music says, I told you the fastest hour. That's it for us here on the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Want to thank Dina Green, DMG Realty, and Rosemarie Ashley from Capital Mortgage Fund. They got that home buying seminar.
Yeah, thank you, ladies.
Call Capital
Appreciate
Mortgage
that.
Funding at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Again, Ford Trojans, Evergreen South 8 Mile, baby. Let's go.
There you go. Okay, Harry says the Tigers are going to be off on their winning ways again. We got Pat Caputo coming up with sports. Have a safe weekend. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket.
97.1 The Ticket.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke for Capital Mortgage Funding. We do loans everywhere. In Southfield, in Birmingham, in Royal Oak, in Grosse Ile, in Detroit, in Canton, in Northville. No matter where you live, we want to do your mortgage too. That's Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.